Hey, everybody. My name is Charlie Isaacs. I'm the Associate General Counsel for the Community Commission for Public Safety and Accountability, and I'm here to talk to you about the 2024 Commissioner application process. We're going to go over a few topics today. The purpose of today's webinar is first to make sure that you all understand what the commission is and what it does. It's a brand new commission. A lot of people don't know yet about all the amazing things that it does to serve the city of Chicago. So we're going to go over that and make sure that we are all on the same level with that. Then we'll talk about the nomination process. How does it work in terms of the selection and decision about who gets to be on the commission? And then finally, we'll go over how to apply to be on the commission. Here's the table of contents for today's webinar. I'll go over and explain what the commission is. I'll then tell you about the role of commissioners and how to qualify to be on the commission. We'll then go over the nomination process and we'll end with a discussion about how to apply, including what types of application materials you need to submit and what is the deadline. So first things first, what is the Community Commission for Public Safety and Accountability, or as we say, CCPSA? In 2021, a law got passed by City Council in Chicago establishing the Community Commission. The Community Commission is a citywide public body that meets every month and is responsible for advancing public safety and police accountability in Chicago. The law that created the Community Commission also created district councils. And we're not going to talk about the district councils, but they're going to come up later on, and you'll see why, because they play a very important part in how the Community Commission gets selected. But just know this for now, district councils are three-person public bodies that are in each and every police district in Chicago, all 22 districts. They are elected public bodies. That's different than the commission. The commission is an appointed public body. So back to the commission. The commission has 7 members, and like I said, they are appointed. They're appointed to serve 4-year terms, with one exception. This is the first ever permanent commission that is being nominated and appointed. That means that there's going to be 7 people who will be beginning their term, but the ordinance lays out that it shouldn't be that every time that the terms end, the entire commission is up for grabs. So just this one time, there will be a random drawing to have 3 people serve only 2-year terms. After that, every 2 years, there will be people up for reappointment or seats open for new appointments. And from then on, it'll always be 4-year terms. Being on the commission is hard work. And for that hard work, the commissioners are paid $1,000 per month, $12,000 per year. The president gets paid $15,000 per year. The president and the vice president of the commission are selected by the other members of the commission. So let's talk about what exactly this commission does, what its purpose is. The purpose of the commission is to exercise community-based and community-informed oversight over these 3 departments: the Chicago Police Department, the Civilian Office of Police Accountability, and the Police Board. Together, these 3 groups represent a major aspect of how we do public safety in Chicago, and they represent a major police accountability system that we have here in our city. For those who don't know, COPA, the Civilian Office of Police Accountability, is responsible for taking in complaints of police misconduct, investigating them, and then sometimes suggesting or recommending discipline. The Police Board is a public body of 9 people, and they meet each month and they hear cases of police misconduct that are brought by COPA or brought by the police department, misconduct of a police officer, and they'll review and reach decisions about whether there should be discipline, and if so, what that discipline should be. So when it comes to the oversight work of the commission, let's talk about exactly what that oversight looks like. The ordinance lays out a long list of ways in which the commission performs its oversight and accountability duties, and it would take a while to go through each and every single one of those. So let's look at them in these buckets. The first bucket is policymaking. The commission has a very important role when it comes to policymaking. The commission has the power to create request and review policies by any of these three agencies. I'm going to say that again. The commission can create policies for these three agencies to follow. It can request that the agency develop a policy for it to follow. And if the agency, whether it's CPD, COPA, or the police board, if they want to create a policy, then the commission is there to review it and work with the whoever came up with the policy to develop it. The ordinance lays out this collaborative process in which the commission will work with whichever one of those groups are involved, CPD, COPA, or the police board, to develop the policy, give suggestions and recommendations and comments, and try to reach an agreement about what the final form of it should be. At the end of the day, the commission has the responsibility of holding a vote on whether to approve or reject the policy. In the next slide, I'll give you a couple of examples of how this policymaking has played out. But beyond policymaking, another major responsibility of the commission is its power to do appointments. The commission's responsibility in this area is to nominate candidates for the superintendent of the police department whenever that seat is vacant, nominate candidates for the police board whenever seats are vacant, and select and appoint the chief administrator of COPA whenever that seat is vacant. I want to make that clear. When it comes to the selection of a superintendent of the police department or members of the police board, the commission's role is to nominate options to the mayor, and the mayor makes the appointment. With the COPA chief administrator, the commission is responsible for making the selection. When it comes to the work of all of these people that the commission helps to nominate or appoint, the commission has another job, and that is goal setting and evaluations. Each year, the commission will set goals for the heads of these three agencies: the superintendent of the police department, the president of the police board, and the chief administrator of COPA. The commission will set goals for these three heads, and the commission will evaluate the performance of the heads of these agencies from the past year over the goals that were set the year prior. So that happens each winter of every year, December and January, where the commission, by ordinance, will evaluate progress and set goals for the future. And that's to help ensure that the heads of CPD, COPA, and the police board are on the right track, doing great things to help advance their missions and achieve what they're supposed to do to improve public safety and accountability in Chicago. Now, beyond that, the commission also has a really important role when it comes to having hearings and doing reporting. Keep in mind that one of the big things that the commission does across the board with all these things is about hearing from communities and helping communities better understand and interact with our police accountability system. So one of the things the commission does is it holds hearings on pertinent topics of concern from communities. We'll talk about a couple of examples that we've had in 2023 for hearings that the commission has held. The commission also does reporting on the police budget each year. And by budget, I mean the budget proposal that CPD makes each year for what its budget should be in the following year. The commission issues a very important report to help members of city council, as well as members of the public, better understand what exactly is going on in this budget and what the perspective is of the commission. Finally, the commission has a strong responsibility for making recommendations. The ordinance says that the commission can and should make recommendations to city council on matters of public safety and police accountability. And the commission can also make recommendations to the Office of the Inspector General about investigations to have on large-scale issues that it identifies in terms of the police accountability system. So let's talk a little bit about the past year and what the commission has achieved. We have an interim commission right now that is serving until the first ever permanent commission, which we're recruiting for right now, gets put in place. The interim commission had a very busy year in 2023. They nominated candidates for and selected the police superintendent, current CPD superintendent Larry Snelling, was one of the three options nominated by the commission after the commission performed a historic and major monumental search process. They also nominated people to the police board, including the new president of the police board, Kyle Cooper. There was also some policymaking that the commission engaged in, both as the creator and the recipient of policy proposals. The commission specifically proposed a policy and approved a policy for the police department that disabled the gang database by ensuring that whenever there's any policies on gang data and gang databases, it remains within the purview of the commission. The commission also was on the receiving end when it received a proposal from the police department for amendments to its associations order. The associations order in the past said that police officers could not associate with criminal groups and street gangs. The amendment that the commission worked very hard with CPD on and finally eventually approved is a policy that expands to say that the associations also apply to associations with hate groups and terrorist groups and discriminatory groups. So that was an example of policymaking where CPD proposed an amendment, and then the commission worked hand in hand with CPD to develop that policy into its final form and then approve it. And it came into effect after that. The commission also has held a number of hearings in 2023. Some of the standouts were a hearing on officer wellness and also a hearing on public safety for workers, such as gig workers, postal workers, and transit workers. So hopefully, after hearing all of this, you see how important of a role the commission plays in Chicago, and maybe you're getting excited to possibly apply, or maybe you know of somebody who would be perfect for the commission. Let's talk about how people qualify to be on the commission and how the selection process works. So first, the qualifications. And these are laid out in the ordinance that establishes the commission. The ordinance says that to be on the commission, you must have been a resident of Chicago for the last 5 years preceding your appointment. During those 5 years, you cannot have worked for CPD, COPA, or the police board. And that's important to avoid the conflicts of interest, since being on the commission means that you'll be exercising oversight over those 3 different groups. Finally, the ordinance says that to be on the commission, you must have 5 years of relevant field experience. And this is what I mean by field experience. I mean field experience in the areas of law, public policy, social work, psychology and mental health, public safety, community organizing, civil rights and advocacy for marginalized communities. This list is in our ordinance. And what the ordinance says is that to be on the commission, you need to have at least 5 years from any point in your life. It doesn't have to be the most recent 5 years of your life, but across your life, you must have accrued 5 years of experience in these different fields. It's also specific to say that you don't have to have all 5 years in one single field. You could, for example, have spent 2 years as a social worker before switching jobs and becoming a community organizer for 3 years. You could have worked as in public policy for a couple of years, and then 10 years later, you started to work as a psychologist, and you've been doing that for a number of years. As long as, in the end, the arithmetic brings you to 5 years or more of experience in these fields, that's what is deemed to be the important experience you need to have in order to qualify to be on the commission. Now, I'm going to talk in a few moments about one big exception to this. 2 spots on the commission are devoted to people who are between the ages of 18 and 24 who are exempt from this requirement. I'll be there in a second. Beyond these qualifications that I just listed, commissioners also have to display a reputation for integrity and professionalism. They have to have a history of leadership and community involvement. They need to demonstrate the ability to engage with a wide range of stakeholders on policing. And by diverse stakeholders, I mean everything from police officers to people who have survived police misconduct and violence, and everything in between. There are so many different stakeholders when it comes to policing. Commissioners need to be able to engage with people across the board. And finally, commissioners need to have the ability to work collaboratively while exercising objectivity and sound judgment. Now, beyond the qualifications for individuals to be able to be on the commission, there's a few other things to note that the ordinance says, and that's composition requirements about the commission. These are requirements about what the commission must be like at the end of the day after people are appointed. There's a regional requirement here. The regional requirement is that on this 7-person commission, remember, we're talking about 7 people. Of the 7 people, 2 of them must have resided on the south side for the last year preceding their appointment. 2 must have lived on the west side for the last year preceding their appointment. And 2 must have lived on the north side for the last year preceding their appointment. I want to just underscore that for each of these, the person who is on the commission must have been living on that side of the city for 1 year or more preceding their appointment. The 7th seat on the commission can be somebody in any of these sides of the city. It could be somebody on the south side, the west side, the north side. The 7th seat could also be for somebody who in the last year switched sides of the city. I know that that's not very common, but once in a while there is somebody who decides to move from the west side to the south side, or from the north side to the west side. And if there's somebody who has decided to actually move to an entire different side of the city, they can still qualify for the commission. The 7th seat is open for anybody in the city, as long as you fulfill all those other requirements that I listed earlier, like being a Chicago resident for the past 5 years. This map here that you're seeing is color-coded to show you the different sides of the city. When we say south side, west side, and north side, I know that that conjures up all sorts of different ideas for different people in terms of what you define as south side, west side, and north side. This is what the ordinance defines it as. So the ordinance lays it out based on community areas. And so there we have it color-coded. The blue is the north side, the red is the west side, and the green is the south side. Now, let's keep going about the composition. Again, we have 7 people on the commission. Of those 7 people, 2 or more members, at least 2, must be attorneys who have been practicing law for at least a decade. And in their practice of law, they must have significant experience in civil liberties, civil rights, or criminal law, such as prosecution or defense work. There is also a requirement under the ordinance that at least one member of the 7-person commission must be a community organizer who's been doing that work for at least a decade, 10 or more years, with formal affiliations to community-based organizations. So if you're identifying in this group, you need to make sure that when you outline your community organizing, you can establish formal affiliations and point to community-based orgs that you've been a part of. Just like if you are vying to show that you fulfill the attorney requirement, you got to show that whichever area of law you practice in, that somehow it shows that you have significant experience in civil liberties, civil rights, and criminal law. I'll point out that right now I'm giving you the simple version, which is that each of these people are separate and different and not overlapping. But of course, there is the possibility that somebody could qualify for both. There could be somebody who spent 10 years as a community organizer for a community-based org before deciding to go to law school and become a lawyer and then practicing law for 10 years. That's possible. But I'm keeping it simple and showing you that of the 7 people, you got 2 people who've been a lawyer for 10 years and 1 person who's been a community organizer for 10 years. Finally, I alluded to this earlier, 2 members of the 7-person commission are meant to be between the ages of 18 and 24, and they are exempt from the 5-year field experience. That makes sense because when we're recruiting for people who are youths that are between the ages of 18 and 24, it's less likely that maybe they've been able to accrue 5 years of that field experience. So they don't have to have the full 5 years of field experience. However, they do need to be able to meet the other types of expectations, such as a history of leadership and community involvement. And of course, the residency requirement of being in Chicago for the last 5 years. So that's the composition of the commission. You have at least 2 attorneys with 10 years, at least 1 community organizer with 10 years, at least 2 youths that are between the ages of 18 and 24 that don't have to meet that 5-year field experience requirement. So let's now get into the selection process. This is a truly historic moment for the city of Chicago and for our history of trying to advance public safety and police accountability. It's historic because we have an ordinance that has created a new way for communities to be involved in and help set the direction for how we do accountability and public safety in Chicago. And now we have the opportunity to really bring to life the true heart of this ordinance, which is to provide for a community-driven, grassroots-inspired process for selecting who is on this important and powerful citywide commission. So this is where I want to bring back the topic of the district council members. I mentioned earlier in the presentation that the law that created the community commission also created district councils in each and every police district across Chicago. These are 3-person elected public bodies, and they're elected at the same elections where you vote for alders and mayors. So these district council members play a very important role in helping to decide who's on the commission. Now, right now, what we have is an interim commission. You see, the law that was established in 2021, the next election for Chicago wasn't going to be for a couple years. So instead of waiting for that to happen and then for a nomination to take place, the law established a process for creating an interim commission that would hold power and do its work in the meantime until the permanent commission was established. This interim commission is a 7-person public body, just like what the permanent commission is going to be, but their selection process was different. They were nominated and appointed and finally confirmed by city council and the mayor. City council did the nominations to the mayor, and the mayor appointed members who were then confirmed by city council. So their establishment, their selection and appointment and establishment predates the installation of the district councils. The district councils had not been elected yet, let alone inaugurated or formed a nominating committee. So that's the interim commission, and the interim commission will serve until the permanent commission is put in place. What makes the permanent commission different is the nominating committee. The nominating committee is comprised of 1 person from each of those 22 district councils. So that means you have 22 people on the nominating committee, 1 from every police district. And all of them were elected to serve on their district councils. So these are 22 elected officials of the city of Chicago. The value of this, the meaning of this, you have these elected leaders working on the ground in their communities, in their neighborhoods, to effectuate better public safety and better transparency and better community oversight over the police at the local level, at the district level. With the nominating committee, we harness all of that work, all of those insights, all of that expertise, and carry it forward into a discussion about who should be on a citywide commission with so much power as to be able to set policies and help decide who will be in charge of each of these important institutions, the police department, COPA, and the police board. This is a picture of the district council members, many of them, on the day of their inauguration in May of 2023. And like I said, there is one member from every district council who serves on the nominating committee, which is responsible for helping to decide the commission. How does that work? Here is the process. The selection process simply goes like this. Applications go to the nominating committee. The nominating committee reviews and interviews applicants, and then will nominate at least 2 people for every vacancy on the commission. Now, in future years, you're going to have maybe 3 or 4 seats of the commission that will be up for grabs and vacant with expiring terms, because we'll have staggered seats, and every 2 years, new seats will be opening up. And then, of course, there's a chance that somebody may step down from the commission, and so you'll need to nominate at least 2 people for that 1 seat. So the responsibility of the nominating committee is to nominate at least 2 people for every vacancy. This is a unique year because all 7 seats are vacant on the permanent commission. Yes, we have an interim commission, but that interim commission is holding until the permanent commission is put in place. The permanent commission is an empty commission. There are no permanent commissioners yet, or no members on the permanent commission yet. So that's why this year, the nominating committee is nominating at least 14 candidates, 2 for every vacancy, 7 vacancies. The nominations then go to the mayor, and the mayor appoints 7 candidates, 7 people to the 7-person commission. And these people are subject to review and confirmation by city council. The timeline for this is here. 30-day application period. We launched the application process on January 8th, and that will go until February 7th. After that, the nominating committee will get another 30 days to review the applications, select people to interview, and make nominations. That will be due by March 8th. The nominating committee needs to meet to make those nominations by March 8th. After that, assuming the nominating committee does that on March 8th, that will give the mayor another 30 days after that, starting March 8th and going to April 7th, to review the nominations and make appointments. After that, the mayor's appointments will go to city council. There's no telling when city council will do this. That's why I have some question marks here next to the number of days, because it could be the day after the mayor appoints, or 2 days, or 2 months. It's not clear. So if you're asking me when will you become a commissioner if you are appointed, well, assuming things go properly, maybe April, but it's possible it could be May. It just depends on city council's schedule and what city council is handling at the time. Now, there's a couple caveats I want to point out here. The first is that the mayor can decline to fill a seat or multiple seats. And if the mayor does this, the mayor has to send written reasons for why the mayor is choosing to not fill certain seats. By ordinance, the committee has to post those written reasons online within 3 business days. That's an important accountability and transparency factor to make sure that whatever the reasons are, they're written and they're shared with the public. After that, the nominating committee needs to find new names. The nominating committee will have 30 days to come up with new names. Now, let's play out a scenario to help make this clear how this works. Let's say the nominating committee gives the mayor 14 names. The mayor looks at that list and identifies 5 people that he wants to have on the commission. So he selects 5 of those names for nomination, for appointment. That leaves 2 more seats on the commission. But let's say the mayor looks at the list and doesn't see 2 more people that he feels should be on the commission. If the mayor decides to, in fact, not fill those 2 seats with the remaining options on the list, the mayor will have to send written reasons to the nominating committee saying, here's why the remaining people on the list of nominees you sent me are not people that I want to select for these final 2 seats on the commission. In this situation, 2 vacancies remain. The nominating committee needs to provide the mayor with at least 4 names, 2 for each of those vacancies. If the mayor were to come back to the nominating committee saying, I have 1 seat that I'm not filling with the remainder of the names on this list, the nominating committee would have to provide at least 2 names. If the mayor said, I'm not filling 6 of these seats, I only found 1 person that I want on the commission, then the nominating committee would have to come up with at least 12 new names, 2 for each vacancy. So there's all sorts of ways this could play out depending on how many seats the mayor chooses to fill and any seats the mayor chooses to keep open. But one thing is for sure, based on the ordinance, the people that will be on this commission must be people that were nominated by the nominating committee. The people cannot be selected from outside the list of nominees provided to the mayor by the nominating committee. Now, here's the second caveat. Let's say the mayor makes appointments and then it goes to city council for confirmation. City council may not necessarily confirm everybody. If city council chooses to not confirm all the names, then the mayor will have 30 days to send new names to the city council, or if the mayor decides that none of the remaining names are qualified or good enough to be on the commission, then the mayor could ask for some new names from the nominating committee. So again, this is a situation where there could be all sorts of scenarios. City council could decide not to confirm any of the 7 appointed names from the mayor. The city council could decide to confirm some, but not all, maybe 6 of them, but not the 7th person. Or maybe they confirm 3 of them, but 4 of them they reject. Whatever it is, if city council doesn't confirm certain appointees, the mayor has to give new names to city council for those spots. And again, the mayor will have 30 days to do that. And if the mayor decides that the other names on the list of nominees aren't people that he wants to appoint, then he has to ask the nominating committee to give him new names. And then we go back to the step before where the nominating committee has to provide new names to the mayor. And that, my friends, is the selection process. So how do you apply? The deadline to apply is February 7th at noon. To apply, you need to email the following materials to commissionnomination@cityofchicago.org. That's commissionnomination@cityofchicago.org. First, a completed application form that is available on our website. Second, a current resume. And third, 3 letters of support. And by letters of support, I mean letters of support from people who can speak to how you qualify to be on the commission. The ordinance says that you need to submit at least 3 letters. You can submit more, you cannot submit fewer than 3. The application form, by the way, is a form that includes several short essay questions to help the nominating committee review and determine whether or not you are somebody who truly qualifies to be on the commission. The last thing I'll note here is that the ordinance says that if you wish, as an applicant, you can also submit a written statement that speaks to how policing or the criminal legal system has impacted your life and your decision to be on the commission. If you submit a written statement, the nominating committee will consider that written statement as well. But remember, you got to get these materials in by February 7th at noon. You have to email it to commissionnomination@cityofchicago.org. If this is an issue and you need to submit your application in some other way, you need to email us or you need to call the office of the Community Commission for Public Safety and Accountability, and we will coordinate with you. To learn more about the application process and to download the application form that I just mentioned, you can use this QR code right here. And you just got to take out your phones, open up the camera app, point it at that image right there, the black and white image, and you'll see a website pop up on your phone. You click on that, it'll take you to our website. But also, if you don't know how or don't like using QR codes, it's simple. cityofchicago.org/Chicago Community Commission. cityofchicago.org/Chicago Community Commission. When you get there, you'll see a clear button to press that says apply to be a commissioner. If you have any questions at all about this presentation, about the application process, about the commission, about anything, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. You can contact our office. You can email commission nomination at cityofchicago.org. You can also email community commission public comment at cityofchicago.org as well. That's the email address for submitting public comments for the public meetings of the commission. But don't hesitate to reach out to us. We want to answer your questions. We want to make sure that you are armed with the information you need so that you can determine if you are ready to be on the community commission. Thank you very much for being here with us today. I hope that you found this informative. I hope that this answered your questions. And I hope that you are thinking of yourself or thinking of others who can be on the commission. In the meantime, you have a good day, stay safe, and thank you for spending time listening to this presentation.